Last week was wonderful. Um, I think uh, people enjoyed it, and I personally I enjoyed it, and as I said before, mothers are a special breed, but wise mothers are really a gem. And as Benita like to always say, where would we be without them? And again, I agree with her, but I also uh, am quick to point out that if you go back to Genesis, it if it was correctly translated, it kind of sets things in a certain order. And in my teaching, I of course talked about how the Holy Spirit overshadowed, and the seed of a woman came forth. And then there was her cousin Elizabeth. She was pregnant. And there's never been any doubt that women are vital to civilization. This place would be not much fun if ladies weren't present. And as I said before, we appreciate you. You are very much necessary in our lives. And even when it appears, we do love you. We fed you. And we're gonna get there together. I'm gonna get back to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, 22nd chapter. You know, this morning in Insight, I was telling one of the brothers, I said I almost started a civil war up here, but that was not my intent. but but always, always, always be in pursuit of truth. Always be in pursuit, obviously, of His wisdom. You know, and all of us in different ways, uh, we want to be found doing what's proper by Yah standards, not so much society. And I think at the forefront of most people's minds is, how do I navigate my way through this maze we call life. And in Jeremiah, he's talking about how the people are to carry themselves, and he's giving instructions, and these instructions still apply even to today. And most of us know when you don't know what to do, ask the one that made you. And because the beauty of it is he's looking at our heart. He considers our intent, and we look at the person. We look at the actions. We've learned to listen to some degree at what a person says, but we're also observant to see, more importantly, what they do. And so, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because someone can tell you that they love you, but yet they're constantly bringing pain or irritation or whatever in your life. And you start wondering, well, do you really love me? You know. But we're coming along, and trust and love it's beginning to percolate, and we're going to need it for the days ahead. Let me get into the scripture. Jeremiah 22, it says, Adonai said, go down to the house of the king of Judah, or they say Yehuda, and there speak this word. King of Judah, occupying David's throne, hear the word of Adonai. I like to say Yah or Yahweh. You, your servants, and your people who enter these gates, this is what Yah says. So you who enter these gates, who enter the United States or wherever else you entering, hear these words. He says, do what is right and just. Rescue the wronged from their oppressors. Do nothing wrong or violent to the stranger, orphan, or widow. Don't shed innocent blood in this place. And then listen at what the Most High says. He says, if you are careful to do this, then future kings, and here I could say, you could insert leaders. Future leaders occupying David's throne will enter these palace gates riding in chariots and on horses, he, his servants, and his people. But then listen at this. But if you will not pay attention to these words, then I swear by myself, says Yah. Let me read that again. But if you will not pay attention to these words, then I swear by myself, says Yah, that this place, this palace, will become a ruin. This city, this nation, this country. See, well, I have a thing with the English language, but, that's what I learned how to speak. But, a lot of times when we're reading this, we're thinking about the words that we're hearing or reading on the page. But this thing, a lot of times what we're reading it's about different scenarios. So, they might say within the gates. Well, that could be within your city, within your community, in your neighborhood. It can be as small or as expansive as you can contemplate in your mind. He's saying, wherever you are, do what is right and just. Rescue the wrong from their oppressors. Do nothing wrong or violent to the stranger, orphan, or widow. Don't shed innocent blood in this place. Now, you can do that when you don't know what else to do. Just do these things. Regardless of who's in charge, regardless of where you come from, if we just do these things right today in 2025, it'll go well with us. A lot of us, some of us, we try to strategize, we try to plan, we think stay one step ahead or whatever. Let's just try doing these few things that we've just heard. Do what is right and just. We could, all of us, do you know the quality of our lives? If we would just do the first thing, the quality of our lives would be on an upswing. And the beauty of it is, and the people you're connected to by circumstance or happenstance, they can benefit. See, this thing about, we like to say, serving the Most High or whatever, it blesses you, but other people get some of that residue, that blessing residue. The people you greet, the people you work with, the people you see in the market or whatever. The people that you pass that might be in need or whatever. Or you might be the one in need. Someone's heart because of the way you're living. Just doing what is right and just. They may be encouraged to do something on your behalf, and they don't even know you. See, a lot of times we try to work things out, and it appears that he just wants us to follow, be obedient, and when he say go, go. When he say stop, stop. But I'll speak for myself. A lot of times I would like, can you show me the whole playbook? Well, that's above my pay grade. But I still find myself sometimes wanting to, can I peek in there? Can I? Do what is right and just. And that's in everything. That's in everything. And now that's not easy. That's not easy. Do what is right and just. Rescue the wrong from their oppressors. Sometimes, the way things are nowadays, again, I'll just use myself as an example. Some stuff you see and you be like, man, I'm going to keep driving. Because sometimes, I know what fellas sometimes, you might do a quick survey of the situation. You say, and what you'll say is, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Why am I going to get out the car and get involved in this disturbance? And of course, somebody like me would say, well, I got to go to work. So, Father, you're going to have to send somebody else. But then I have to go back and it said, do what is right and just. But saints, also you got to always, and this was some of what I was trying to say. Listen, as believers, as the people of God, as sons and daughters of the Most High, always be aware of your situation, your surroundings. Yes, I know that we're being encouraged to do what is right and do what is just, but ask yourself, is it expedient that I do this now? Because here it is. It's not that you don't have faith, but I tell you, deception is on the rise. And I'm not saying this to make you afraid. I just want you to be aware. Be aware of what's happening. Now, you don't have to, be ate up with it. That's what we used to say when somebody's just constantly ding-donging on something. Don't be like that. Because there are a lot of aspects of life that we can enjoy. But enjoy it with certain things still in the back of your mind. Realize we are not, life, particularly in this country, is not always like Busch Gardens and King's Dominion. Even though we see plenty, we see everything is good. I mean, right now we're in an air-conditioned building. Most of us left homes and apartments, and they got air conditioning. Some of us got dishwashers and all of that we got every convenience, in some ways we live in large. But we're still required to do what? Do what's right and what's just. And unfortunately, sometimes because we live like we live, we think that's in direct correlation to how Yah sees us. Not necessarily so. Because see, he loves the guy that don't have a house or an apartment or a car. And he has the same requirement. Hey, do what's right, do what's just. Do what's right, do what's just, regardless of how you feel about a situation. Again, it ain't easy. Well, you don't know what research I've done. I'm not challenging your research. In fact, I'd like to hear it because I may miss something. See, be willing because you can learn and it helps, it shapes your understanding so you can make a quality decision. See, a lot of us made some decisions because we were given a set of, we thought we were given the whole picture when we were given a perverted picture. And some of us made some key life decisions, and we didn't have all the pertinent information. Now, we may have the information we received, we might have agreed with it 1,000%, but you didn't have all the pertinent information that would have made you make a better decision. Some of us, we've said, well, if I knew then what I know now. And I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes that kind of information comes from sources that you might consider suspect. But I'm telling you, if you are in for truth, even the Most High said, if you seek me with your whole heart, you'll find me. And so in our quest, if we really want to do what's right and what's just, we're going to go after that like it's something good to eat. And sometimes you got to navigate through some unfriendly, possibly situations. Sometimes you might be introduced to some things that you, if you're being flat out honest, I never even thought about that. If you're being flat out honest. And so rather than just totally reject something, well, wait a minute, let me chew on that for a little bit. You know, any of you ever had, don't raise your hand, any of you ever, somebody could call out a certain food and you say, I don't like, I know one of the presidents, he didn't like broccoli. I'm not going to call his name. I know who it is. He didn't like broccoli. You know, but I'll go back. I can tell this. I used to didn't like the way my mother made liver. And when I was at my mother-in-law's having dinner, she had made some liver. And well, I had already, you know the story. I had already made up my mind. Whatever they put on that plate, I was going to eat it. And I was like, oh my goodness. But you know, I went ahead. I said, well, I knew I was going to eat it anyway. And I cut into that. Man, I asked for seconds of the liver. Now, I never told my mother that because, you know, I'm a good son. And I'm not saying I'm a good son. Some things you can share with mom. Some things, if you're smart, you just keep to yourself. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because sometimes, folks, in our quest, see, when trust and love is on the increase, you're more willing to share of what you are exposed to that you believe will not hurt people. Okay? So, I'm just saying, have any of you ever had to change your mind about a situation because the facts slap you right in the face? And see, facts have nothing to do with feelings. Facts are facts, okay? You'll hear a lot of people debating and they always want to use math, they want to use statistics and things of this nature, but when you really want to get to the truth, you say, hey, let's look at the numbers. Pick any program. And then you say, well, okay, who was helped by this program? Take all the titles or whatever we want to, however we want to categorize somebody, put all that to the side. And just look at the bottom line. You might be surprised. In fact, most of us will be surprised. And none of us got all the answers. And even if we all agreed on something, that still don't make it so. So, do what is right and just. Rescue the wrong from their oppressors. Do nothing wrong or violent to the stranger. Oh, stranger. Well, what is a stranger? That's somebody you really don't know. Somebody you're not always in their presence. And here he's saying, for us, do nothing wrong or violent to the stranger, or orphan or a widow, and don't shed innocent blood in this place. And even in that, we can also say that when you embarrass somebody, that's akin to like a murder. See, people just say, oh, well, I just told a joke, and yeah, well, they were embarrassed. Well, the Most High, he don't smile upon that because you cause the blood to rush to their face. We don't really know what fruit it was, supposedly, that Esau ate and gave to Ish. And he did eat too. He wouldn't even identify. Now maybe there's some writings or some information somewhere. We just haven't got it yet. Let me read a little further. Because we're all thinking, what am I supposed to do today? What should I be doing today? Things are crazy. This one's good, that one's bad, this one's good. And we say, oh, the economy is bad. Again, folks, I'm saying to you, listen, all of the stuff, I admit, is crazy. But when you hear the talk about the economy, just ask yourself this one question. How is your economy? See, because anybody can throw out statistics saying, hey, we did this, we got a surplus. Well, I still can't buy a loaf of bread. So if all my neighbors are doing well, I'm still not. So the economy is not good for me. Now, does that mean that I should want everybody to do bad like I'm doing? No. But even in that, even when the economy is still bad for me, I still have to do what is right and what is just. Because he says if you're careful to do this, then future kings or leaders occupying, some could say the White House or whatever, or the outhouse, will enter these palace gates, riding in chariots and on horses and even on planes that other countries want to give them. And of course, with some people, and again, I'm trying to get us to be able to look past personalities and things that we have built up in our heads about how a person is, particularly if you've never met them. See, our famous actors, actresses, singers, athletes, whatever, we think we know them because we see them all the time. We see them performing. But we don't know them. And guess what? They sure as heck don't know us. But yeah, we got strong. I mean, some guys get in, some say one guy's the best. Somebody else, the younger folks say this guy's the best. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They almost get in a fist fight. If you're careful to do this, then future kings occupying David's throne will enter these palace gates riding in chariots and on horses, he, his servants, and his people. But if you will not pay attention to these words, then I swear by myself, says Yah, that this palace will become a ruin. I pray none of your homes are in ruin. I pray none of your neighborhoods and communities are in ruin. But if we got too many people not doing what's right and what's just, and they treating strangers, orphans, widows any kind of way, trouble's coming. You know, I know in my neighborhood, at the time when I bought 20-some years ago, it was perfect. People were of a certain age. I probably was the youngest one in there. And it was everything that I said, okay, my plan has worked out just fine. Again, relying on that stupid list that I lived my life by for a lot of years. 2025. Large corporations are buying residential homes. A young family or older family, it's hard for them to move in. So these companies, they're buying up all the property, and they're trying to make, some could say, they're trying to convert the country from home ownership to everybody renting. And that's going on in my neighborhood now. On the left side of me, they have what's called now, it's a group home. And I began, I said, wait a minute, hold it. Are you becoming like those hoity-toity people that you can't stand? Because I said, listen, they not shooting over there. I don't hear no loud music yet. Now, there are different people coming in and out. And I guess what they're doing is they're, letting them stay in a room. I don't really know how that's going. I found out from that neighbor that lived across the street from me that things are getting better. I'm working on trying to be a good neighbor and my heart be right while I'm doing an act of chesed. Because again, even if you do an act of kindness and you got something in your heart about that person, the Most High don't even count that. At least that's the way it seemed he operated with me. But that's how I found out. If I want to know what's going on in the neighborhood, I can just go to her and find out. And then on the other side, they've got a situation going, which is nice again. It's like a foster type situation. What I'm saying is, a lot of my neighbors have sold their homes and they moved into like rest homes, or they passed, you know. And so my neighborhood is getting younger and louder, you know. And, I've kind of already said to several of the fellas, I said, well, I believe they'll be carrying me on out of there. I said, and a couple of my siblings, they know where the spare key is, so if so many days, better call and check on me. But if I don't answer, you know what's going to happen. And I don't want to go nowhere. I want to stay here a long time. But I'm saying, why am I saying? I'm saying this because stuff's happening all around us, and we need to be aware of what's going on. And some stuff we like, some stuff we don't like. But we still got to do what? We got to do what is right and just, regardless of how I feel about the situation. Now, would I rather? Yes, I would rather families move in. Yeah, I would rather. But guess what? It ain't up to me. And I doubt, seriously, those people in either house, they don't give a kidney bean what I think about the situation. Let me go a little further. But if you will not pay attention to these words, then I swear by myself, says Yah, that this palace will become a ruin. For here is what Yah says concerning the palace of the king of Judah. And so instead of the palace of the king of Judah, put your residence, put your city, put your state, put your country. Because he's saying if you don't do right and you don't do what's just, I'm going to mess it up. He said, I swear by myself, you can't get no higher than that. For here's what Yah says concerning the palace of the king of Judah. You are like Gilead to me, like the peak of Lebanon. Yet I will turn you into a desert, uninhabited cities. So he's telling all the great nations, first world, second world, third world, I won't go use no profanity. He doesn't care. See, we get all in a tizzy about all this stuff, and this stuff's way above our pay grade. Take care of the stuff you can control. I pray we get that. He says, you are like Gilead to me, like the peak of Lebanon. Yet I will turn you into a desert, uninhabited cities. I will designate men to destroy you. I just can't, I don't like so and so and so and so. Well, he says, hey, if we ain't doing what's right, he said, I designate people to get on your nerves. That's another way of saying it. Something to think about. And that, you know something, something else something I learned a long time ago, that when you don't like somebody, whatever it is that you don't like, that you think you see in them, you might have some of that in you. That's a sobering thought. That's a sobering thought. Something to think about. Yet I will turn you into a desert, uninhabited cities. I will designate men to destroy you, each one with his weapons. They will chop down your choice cedars and throw them in the fire. Many nations will pass by this city, and they will say to one another, why has Yah done such a thing to this great city? And in this country, we're always bragging. We the biggest, we the best, we the wealthiest. We hear all of that all the time. And he's saying, well, if y'all don't do right, they'll cut down the choice cedars, which we get a lot of them from another country, but I ain't getting into that. And he said, I'll cut down choice cedars and throw them in the fire. Many nations will pass by and say, why has Yah done such a thing to this great city? The answer will be, and he says, because they abandoned the covenant of Yah, their God, and worship other gods serving them. That's your vain philosophies. That's whatever organizations you belong to. We know the way. We know the better way. You know, there are people that actually think they know what's better for your life than you do. And of course, they don't live your life. They don't live our life. In their estimation, they live far above how they can go in places we can only dream of going. And they drink tea with their pinky up. And they actually think, some of them, that they know better than the everyday, and that's what I call us everyday people. If that offends some of you, I didn't mean that in a negative way. Everyday people are what make this country go. And when you hear any politician or anybody say the full faith and credit of the United States, he's talking about the everyday people. A lot of people don't know that. And we had a president who used to say that every other statement he would make, the full faith and credit of the United States. And we like to tell people, we pay our bills. Yet we have a deficit. And I'm not making this political. I'm just trying to get you to expand your receptives to truth. And it ain't truth because I say it is. Again, just look at numbers. And put the other stuff to the side. Sometimes, you know, even in reading this, sometimes we'll be reading something and it'll hit you a certain way because it may be something where we're a little lacking in that area. And it really speaks to us. And we have to set it down and say, oh, Father, yeah, well, I know you've been dealing with me about that. And you might get up from studying and get on your face and start praying. However, it might move you to do that. It might move you to do something else. Do what is right. Do what is just. Don't do anything wrong or violent to strangers, orphans, and widows, and don't shed innocent blood. And you can even throw in, don't embarrass people. In fact, you know, it's really not good that the sons and daughters of the Most High, we shouldn't even be making real disparaging remarks about people. That's all in part in doing just and doing good. It's a lot to that. And again, not because I say, but because he say. We need to work on our attitudes, people. He said, the answer will be because they abandoned the covenant of Yahweh, their God, and worship other gods, serving them. And then he says later on, don't weep for the king who has died. And see, that's the thing. You know, I don't care how crazy things get. Here's a human fact anyway. None of us are going to stay here any longer than he decreed. So whoever you think is a thorn in your side, either you going to go or they going to go. That's another way to look at things. You know, it doesn't matter how evil somebody is. And I don't mean, you know, you don't want your next door being an axe murderer. Nobody wants that. But I'm saying sometimes we just get so carried away with stuff, and all of us are here because he said, today you will live. And only he knows when we're going to check out of here. Every one of us are at his discretion about that. So why do you want to spend so much time not doing what's just and good? He said, do not weep for the king who has died. Do not mourn for him, but weep for him who departs, for he will never return or see his native land again. That's deep. Then it says, for this is what Yah says about Shalem. He has left this place never to return, but he will die in the place where they have led him captive without seeing this land again. Woe to him who builds his palace unfairly, its upper rooms by injustice. See, this should help us. See, again, I'm trying to share with you, it don't matter who's where. Stop getting our panties in a bunch about all that kind of stuff. It's not worth it. And really, when you think about it, what can we do about it anyway? Am I saying, Barry, don't care, put your head in the sand and don't worry about it. Jesus, 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 come get me, beam me up. No, I'm not saying that. Please don't be like that. Please don't be like that. Believers, we ought to be some of the most astute people on the planet. People are looking to you for direction. I know, church folks say, they ain't supposed to be looking to me, they supposed to be looking to God. Well, if you're a son or a daughter of the Most High, you should be an example for people. And stop passing the buck. Woe to him who builds his palace unfairly, its upper rooms by injustice, who makes his neighbor work for free and will not give him wages, who says, I will build me a spacious palace with airy upper rooms, then makes windows and cedar panels painted with vermilion. That's a type of gold. Your cedar may be excellent, but that doesn't make you a better king. Your cedar may be excellent, but that don't make you a better saint. See how I'm doing that? Yeah, they say king in here, but I'm talking we in 2025, as people always like to say. Can you imagine a finite being telling an infinite entity, God, you just got to understand, this is 2025. That's the attitude of a lot of us. Like he invented time, fool. You know, sometimes we are so arrogant, we stink. I can picture some of us with holes in our underwear. In the back. We got to watch it, saints. We got to watch it. Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. He says, your cedar may be excellent, but that doesn't make you a better king. True, your father ate and drank, but he also did what was right and just. So things went well with him. We just finished Mother's Day. And I pray that all of you had an opportunity to really kind of have some one-on-one time with your mom. I really do. I know it's a little different with the ladies sometime, but fellas, I just pray that you got to spend some time, and because that's, I'm not gonna say that, but your mom is one lady that knows most of your faults, and you can tell her your faults, and she'll kind of help you with it, or she'll at least point you in the right direction. If she's a wise mother. Listen at this. True, your father ate and drank, but he also did what was right and just. So things went well with him. He upheld the cause of the poor and the weak. So everything went well. Isn't that what knowing me is all about? That's what y'all's asking. He's saying if you do right and you do just, you'll get to know me more. Again, not just be able to recite certain scriptures. But you're doing it. You're living it. That's quite a question. Isn't that what knowing me is all about, says Yah? In contrast, your eyes and heart are controlled entirely by your greed. Your desire for shedding innocent blood, oppressing and extorting. And see, folks, that don't just go for the everyday people. That go for leaders too. We act like we forget. Everything is subject to him. And he said earlier, if we keep cutting up, I'm going to designate some people to irritate you. And don't raise your hands, but some of us have people in our lives that's irritating us. Maybe we need to get our hearts right. And we might begin to look at them differently. Something to think about. Something to think about. In contrast, your eyes and heart are controlled entirely by your greed, your desire for shedding innocent blood, oppressing and extorting. Therefore is what Yah says concerning Jehoiakim, the son of Yeshua, and the king of Judah. Listen at this. There will be no one to mourn for him. Oh, my brother, or, oh, my sister. There will be no one to mourn for him. Oh, my master. Oh, I don't like when they put that word in there. But I'll get over it. Or, oh, his glory. He will be, listen to this. He will be given a donkey's burial, dragged out of the gates of Jerusalem and thrown away to rot. And I remember I was telling you all about Jezebel because, with the way society has gone, they're really pushing this, what I'll use the term, they're pushing a gynocentric society. And people are saying, well, they were just misunderstood. Listen, let me tell you something. If you read further, her and her husband both died horrible deaths. But her husband at least had the wherewithal to go to the Most High. And the Most High allowed him, he still got what was coming to him, but at least he was allowed to be buried. Yah said about that young lady, let the birds feed off her carcass. Don't bury her. Now, I don't know where these people getting all of this information from, where they're trying to say she was misunderstood, but they need to go reread their Bible and get several translations. See, this is what I'm saying about people that are quick to use their mouthpiece. And some people may consider them, oh, well, they're scholarly. Yeah, well, you got some idiots that are scholars. I'm not calling all scholars idiots. But I'm saying, my goodness, and you got people going around teaching this stuff. And folks eating it up like it's something good to eat. They call it empowerment seminars. And you just messing folks up. And again, what most of this leads to, it leads to helping us make poor decisions in life. And see, when we make bad decisions, it just don't affect us. It affects your line. Then he says, I see it. Then he says, He will be given a donkey's burial, dragged out of the gates of Jerusalem and thrown away to rot. Climb up to Lebanon and cry out. Raise your voice in Bashan. Cry out from Avarim, for all your lovers are broken. I spoke to you, listen, America, listen. I spoke to you in times of prosperity, but you said, I won't listen. And you know, there are people that will tell you, you don't live in my neighborhood, why I gotta listen to you? And then you got some people, and I ain't gonna call no names, they're in the financial specter, and they get up and they say it with a lot of haughtiness, and they think they saying something. They'll say, I don't take financial advice from anybody that's poorer than me. And they think they've really said something. And you know, particularly in this country, you can be a have and a have-not overnight. I spoke to you in times of prosperity, but you said, I won't listen. This has been your pattern since you were young. You pay no attention to what I say. Now that's Yah speaking. That's Yah speaking to us. Let me read that again. I spoke to you in times of prosperity, but you said, I won't listen. This has been your pattern, Barry, since you were young. You pay no attention to what I say. The wind will shepherd all your shepherds away, and your lovers will go into captivity. Then you will be ashamed and disgraced for all your wicked deeds. Again, just don't go to the man in the street. It go to leaders. It go to kings. It go to presidents. It go to popes. It go to preachers. Fake or not. It go to anybody. I mean, we do, saints, we say, well, you know, I trust God, I believe in God. And then we spend 20 minutes talking about something else, like this person or this mindset or this thing is going to have its way. Nothing's going to have its way over him. Nothing. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be having a picnic. But we do know, somebody said it earlier, we do. We skipped ahead to the book, and in the end it said we win. But we got to stay with him. We got to still do those things that he say. Do what is right. Be just. And I know it's hard, it's difficult. And I'm not fussing. I'm just, oh boy. This has been your pattern since you were young. You pay no attention to what I say. The wind will shepherd all your shepherds away, and your lovers will go into captivity. Then you will be ashamed and disgraced for all your wicked deeds. You will live in the Lebanon, nesting in the cedars. How gracious will you be when pains come on you like a woman in labor? He's saying, Barry, if you don't listen, you don't do what I say, you got some tough days ahead. I don't care what size check you write or what all the good little things you do. And people, oh, what a swell guy. He said, man, if you don't do what's right and you're not just, you're going to find out what it's like when a woman have a baby. I don't want to find out. See? So if he can do that to me, he can do that to anybody. And I'm not saying that like I'm somebody, but we get so caught up in stuff, man, and we act like that person or that situation or whatever, that's bigger than, there ain't nothing bigger than him. And really, you know, listen, listen. Think about Job. Think about David. Think about all your favorite. All of them had some grief. All of them had some unpleasant instances in their lives. Do we really think because we said a prayer or walked down the aisle and shook somebody's hand that we're going to be on easy street till we get out of here? It's not going to be that way. There are going to be challenges. But we still got to do what's right and be just. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. Thank you, Reg.